All right, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real and Respawn podcast. I'm your host, Steven Hudson. With me today, I have a good friend, fellow gamer, Garrett. How you doing today, Garrett?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel very confident about our topic for today.
Yes,
Because we've been it's a trend. The indie games.
Yeah.
So
Hold on. Before we hop into our topic, I think we need to talk about some new releases coming out.
Oh yes.
Do you want to talk about one? I'll talk about the other.
Okay, so there's three on my mind.
Okay, I'll start with one then.
Okay.
I only have two because I think it's the ones we have pictures for. The first one I'm personally excited for that we talked about in a previous podcast is Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. We can pull up a Chapter 5 photo because that is coming out it's next week, right?
In like 4 days.
Oh, yeah. So basically, next week. Oh, I'm excited.
Are we making another hour-long episode on that?
Ooh, we have to.
It's Chapter 5?
It deserves it. All right, you go ahead.
Okay. My next game, I don't know if we have a picture of it, but it's called Reanimal.
I don't think we did get a picture of that.
It's a brand new game coming out that's made by the same creators who created Little Nightmares 1 and 2.
And and since it's multiplayer, me and my boy, we about to play the crap out of it.
The second trailer specifically was actually what got me hooked because there was in the final scene of the trailer, there was like this monster that looked like it had human arms and it was like a goat.
Yeah.
And it was freaking creepy, dude.
Yeah. All right, well, we can't talk too much about our others. The last game we want to talk about is a game from the same studio of one of my slow love games is Crowsworn. It's made by the same people who made Silk Song and Hollow Knight. And it definitely gives me that energy that I'm definitely have to play it. I think with that out of the way, we move into our actual topic.
Oh boy. Today, our topic of discussion is going to be Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Ooh. That is a long running game.
Yes.
It arrived definitely what I would say is the golden era of FNAF age. It had some...
I would rather say golden age of indie games, not FNAF.
Fair. That's fair. But it arrived at such a competitive time. Like, it had so many top contenders to fight. I mean, obviously, like I said, FNAF is one of them.
Yeah.
Like, skyrocketing then.
Well, because the thing was when FNAF came... FNAF in 2017, I believe that was Pizza Sim.
Was it?
Yeah. Or that was... Pizza Sim might have been 2018.
So, the games it had to compete with in 2017, I'm double-checking my sources.
I believe that was Hello Neighbor, Five Nights at Freddy's. I guess you could say Baldi's Basics.
Okay, it was. So, with 2017, some games it had to compete with was, at least not just indie games, right?
Yeah.
It had to compete with Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild.
So, well, okay, hold on. Those are AAA games, bro.
I'm not saying all, but these games, those games were mainstream. They were being covered by a lot of big things. So I'm not saying they're also indie games. I'm saying that they just had a lot of competition across the board.
Okay.
You had Resident Evil Biohazard. You had Cuphead.
Yeah.
You had so many games that you have to compete with, and then they shine through. It was definitely a massive win.
I also think that... What do you think is the reason why it kept going on for so long? And even getting a sequel?
5 chapters, and then getting 3 games, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's just... It wasn't a fresh idea. Like, definitely people have done it in the past. But I think it was just the time it arrived in. A lot of the games, like the ones I've been naming, none of them followed that line of gameplay. They didn't have that same creation. And who doesn't love a Mickey Mouse knockoff?
Fair.
Like, I mean, I know I did.
I felt like the most interesting thing was the design, because it felt very. It's very similar style to like almost comic book kind of thing, which is kind of like also the Walking Dead Telltale games,
Yes.
or just any Telltale game. Really, they have that style where they draw it like a comic book, and that's here, but it's not comic books. It's more like it's like a
old cartoon.
Old cartoon, yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was also very, very cool.
Which leads me into my first question. Since this first is going to be chapter 1, when you first see the game, what is your first impression of like the aesthetic that it creates? Like you have the creepy music, you have like, you know, the almost brown color all over the walls. It's very empty. And you have like, at least I had that feeling that something was watching behind my back. What are your thoughts on like
The
that
very
aesthetic?
first thing that came in my mind was old. Just old. It was a very good way to set the tone of like abandoned. Like it's very, very like the brownish yellowish color is like depicting like old film. Is like whenever you see like, especially on the recordings that are in there of like the cartoons playing, it's everything's yellow. It's got like I don't know why it's yellow. It's like a stain or something. I
think it's like, you know how when you have like old paper,
yeah,
paper goes white to yellow when it's left over long periods of time.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like to me it looks like you're in a film and the film is just really old and it started turning yellow.
So that was the main thing I got, was just old. And then also there was another one that was very specific, which was actually nostalgic. It created a form of nostalgia, but it wasn't really nostalgia because I just started the game. It's a really weird way to describe it.
I can't. There's a name for it. Deja vu.
It's like kind of deja vu-ish, where like I feel like I have not necessarily been here before.
But I've seen it before.
I've seen something like this before.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it on like cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
and now
old
I'm
Mickey Mouse.
playing in it. Yeah.
Like it's funny. I feel like they somewhat unintentionally made a Mickey Mouse knockoff.
It's fair. Yeah.
That's what was really funny to me, was the knockoff of the old cartoons. And I've seen a lot of depictions of like Joey having to, or you know, the company having to go against people like Disney.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they wouldn't survive.
How do you feel about the character designs?
Well, the one we definitely have to talk about is Bendy.
Well, okay, because there's certain context here. Because when he first came out, he just looked like a big pile of ink. And he didn't get a good design until like chapter 3.
Yeah, quote unquote design. And no, he really got a good design. Well, okay, at the start, yeah, he didn't get a good design until chapter 3. But they did a redesign of chapter 1, which definitely gave him a better design.
Yeah, because if for context, when the game first came out, it was just chapter 1.
Yeah, and it looked like a game beta.
When you first saw him, he was just a blob. He was a blob with a smiley face, and that was basically it.
Yeah, he didn't have all that much to him.
But later chapters ended up remodeling that Bendy in chapter 1 and making chapter 1 look better or fit the current meta.
Yeah, and if we can get a picture of the scene that we grabbed from chapter 1 where Bendy's coming at you, we get the first view of his darker, more refined form.
And the Bendy you just see right there is the newest version.
Well, quote unquote newest, but when the remake came, it's weird because the old version didn't have it had a mouth, but it didn't open.
Yeah, it was just teeth. It was just a teeth smile. This one's crazy because now it can open up its mouth. It's like it's got all these weird details. It's just very, very grotesque looking.
It definitely makes you think like it feels a little bit like a cartoon trying to come into real life, but not knowing what form to take.
Yeah. That's why I also want to get into what is Bendy.
Ooh, we getting into today. Okay, so, well, if we're gonna do that, we have to go backwards.
Okay.
The first thing in the game that you see is a note coming from Joey Drew, or as we're called, Henry's old friend. If we can pull up that note, I need to find it so I can read it. Here we go. Okay. The note itself says, "Dear Henry, it seems like a lifetime since we worked on cartoons together. 30 years really slips away, doesn't it? If you're back in town, come visit the old workshop. There's something I need to show you. Your best pal, Joey Drew." I personally don't have a direct answer as to why this note was sent. What I do know is what you find when you get there. So the studio itself is a cartoon studio that was popular in the 1930s. You have Bendy, which was their poster child, which is why you see all of the posters in the start. You have you have Bendy and Boris, his best friend. It reminds me of like Goofy and Mickey kind of deal. But as you dig deeper into the game, it gets a lot darker quicker. Like, I'm going to talk about it a little more so we can get some pictures.
Oh, yeah, there's a dissected Boris.
Oh, that. Yeah, if we can pull up dissected Boris.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Dude, dead Boris. So that Boris, I don't think was from Joey. There's something we have to talk about when we hit chapter 3, but we can't talk about that yet.
Actually, hold on. Fun fact about that picture, that Boris model is actually the old one from the original chapter 1.
Yeah, that's original chapter 1.
Yeah. In newer chapters, Boris has like overalls and stuff like that. And
he looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you go through the tapes of chapter 1 and you go through this, you can start to put together a story. So you see the posters, you see some stuff around. A lot of animation stuff, a lot of desks to draw on. You can find Henry's old desk, but it's very clear that even after the 30 years you've been gone, the place hasn't changed much, which means the conditions were not great, especially for like the 1930s. Were not that great.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's not much else to go off of. You don't get told a lot. The most you see in chapter 1 is a pentagram with 2 coffins, which assumes there was some form of like sacrificial ritual.
Yeah. It's very again, going back to the design, everything being yellow and all that kind of stuff makes it feel very grotesque. Makes it feel very what's the word, like unnerving. Because it's not normal.
It makes you feel isolated in an area you've never been.
Yeah. And do you think maybe like there was a big purpose to making everything the way it is? Like,
I think it's just an aesthetic choice.
You think so?
If you really wanted to go and really overthink it, you could probably say that it's Bendy's influence over the building. So he's starting to change everything to look like him.
It's starting to change everything to look like a cartoon.
Yeah, because he's editing the world around him. But I feel like that's a big overstep.
You think it's just
that's giving
aesthetic?
Bendy a lot more power than he does have. So Bendy himself is an actual demon. There's no way around it. He is not some trapped human soul. He is a demon. He is a demon from hell. There's no other way to put it. And I feel like changing, because a lot of characters in some horror games, right? They're very problematic. They're either not doing it by choice or they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Great example from our Resident Evil was Nemesis. He's doing exactly what he's told because he knows nothing else. And then other than that, this is one of those few characters that knows exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah. I feel like that's very interesting to make him a demon, because you don't really see that a lot in video games, because it's usually just a physical being that's usually an enemy. For example, like Hello Neighbor, FNAF, although that is kind of spiritual, but they're physical.
Yeah, but that creates the separation of, this is not some would-be human that became something else.
It's something beyond our comprehension, basically.
Yes. That's what kind of sets this villain apart from a lot of other indie and AAA games.
And I think it's very interesting that he took a liking to the Bendy character and took its form, and then decided to almost basically make the ink its domain. Basically, where did all this ink come from?
Well, we get to cover that in a second.
We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsors.
So, Steven, I think a big part of being an online gamer is definitely the security of your base. Did you just say security? Yeah, we did. Which leads us into the sponsor of our podcast, Think Security. They are a local security provider that make security cameras, alarm systems, and mobile security units, both for company and for your everyday people, to make sure that they can keep their belongings and themselves safe from anyone who decides it's a good idea to try and steal from them.
You can contact them at 562-926-7555 or visit them directly at 272 South 5th Avenue, City of Industry, California. Thank you, and back to our scheduled entertainment.
See you there.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, let's get back to what we were talking about. So, where did all this ink come from?
And this is perfect going into chapter 2. So we learn a lot more in chapter 2.
Yes.
This ink, it is everywhere. And where this ink came from is a bit up for debate. A lot of it, from the tapes that we get, we are told that Joey is bringing it in. Because one of the tapes said, you do not need this much ink.
Yeah.
So it clearly was coming from somewhere, but I don't think it was anything special. I literally think Joey was just importing massive amounts of ink.
But where was that ink going? The ink machine?
Yes, which is great to talk about. If we can pull up a picture of the ink machine, and that's the newer one, so that's what I'm happy about.
No, okay. We gotta talk about the difference between chapter 1.
Oh,
machine.
yeah.
Okay. When the Bendy and ink machine first came out, in chapter 1, we saw the ink machine. This thing was barely bigger than us.
It probably looked about the size of a vending machine.
Yes. And now in the later chapters and with the remake of chapter 1, it looks
like the size of a building.
Yeah, it is a building, bro.
It has to be pulled up by these, like we saw in that. If we could still get a picture of the old one, it had to be pulled up by massive chains.
Yeah,
that thing was big. And the first one literally had a little plate area to grab the ink.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do with it? You go up to it, you turn it on, you just sit there with a pan and wait.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, what do you do?
Who does that? Can I get some ink? I just need some ink. That's all. Just put some in my little bowl here.
But it's fine. The picture can wait. But we are told that all this ink is being brought in. It's definitely a stupid amount. There's no justification for this amount of ink. It got to the point that even Sammy Lawrence, the composer of a lot of the music, music. What about, was that the whistler? The one who was whistling?
The one who was whistling?
Was that Sammy?
That was I think so.
I guess we'll find out later.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sammy, he's unhappy. He's a little weird too, but he's unhappy because they had to install these massive valves into people's offices in order to control the ink flow so things wouldn't overflow.
Yeah.
In what world do you need enough writing ink to flood an office?
And honestly, it was only going to get worse at that point because then that ink became the demon's domain. And then you put it all over the building.
Yeah.
And then
just give it free travel, bro.
Then the demon curses the ink so that if you go inside of the ink, you become basically one with the demon.
That's spoilers.
That's not spoilers.
Spoilers.
That's not spoilers.
That's heavy spoilers.
That's not spoilers.
I mean,
that's what happens.
Let's be honest.
That's what happened.
Hey, listen though, that doesn't happen for a lot later.
I guess.
But anyway, so it gets weird. It gets weirder. A lot of the people started leaving. They were really sick of Joey bossing them around. There are a lot of posters you can find in chapter 2. Some of them say, work hard, work happy. Mm-hmm. And then another one threatens to say that if you are found faking a sick day, a week's worth of pay will be taken away. That now, while somewhat justified, it still creates that sense of like a tyrannical CEO. Like he didn't care for his workers; he cared for the company, which creates even more tension. Mm-hmm. Now, as to his actual reasoning for creating the ink demon, spoilers: Joey created the ink demon. We're all shocked, but there's no real justification. Mm-hmm. He did it, from my point of view, he did it for revenge, and then it blew up in his face. Mm-hmm. But we also find out later that all of the employees that were left in the building got turned into ink creatures. If we could pull up the little ink dudes that you have to fight.
Little ink dudes.
What else do you call them?
They're like wanderers.
These ink things, they are what's left of the employees. They are all. These smaller ones are under command, and they attack just about anything. Mm-hmm. There are smarter ones that appear later on, but
Yep.
that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
And we find out that there's writings all over the wall of chapter 1 and 2. Some of them say he will set us free. One of my favorite ones was who's laughing now?
Who do you think wrote that?
We are revealed later that who wrote that was indeed Sammy Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to pull up a picture of Sammy. Sammy is one of the more intelligent ink creatures we see. Mm-hmm. And the issue with Sammy is he has formed a bit of a cult around the ink demon.
Basically, like not a church, but like a priest, kind of.
Yes.
Kind of like
Yeah,
a
no,
priest,
because when so there's an instance where he gets attacked by the ink demon when he's trying to offer you as an offering, and he says, "Stay back, I am your prophet."
Yeah, that's crazy. He went crazy.
Yeah, and the writings on the walls, the creator lied to us. Who's laughing now? He will set us free. No angels. All of that was Sammy. It's weird though, because there is the thing I want to read. I don't think we have a picture of it, but there is a tape, and it's basically a poem that he wrote for the ink demon. Here it is. Okay, not that. Crap. You go ahead. I need to find this. I need to find this. Found it.
Dog. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm going. Anyway, let's just read the thing.
Okay. Sammy Lawrence wrote, "He appears from the shadows to rain his sweet blessings upon me. The figure of ink that shines in the darkness. I see you, my savior. I pray you hear me. Those old songs, I still sing them, for I know you are coming to save me, and I will be swept into your final loving embrace. But love requires sacrifice, because can I get an amen?"
Like I said, can I get an amen? You please tell me you remember that. After you read that, or no, after you listen to that, he'll say it in the room, but he won't be in the room.
Oh, yeah.
He'll say,
no, you're right. He does do that.
I said, can I get an amen?
Yeah.
That was sick.
Anyway.
That was sick.
As you were.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. No, okay. So now I want to talk about the what kind of like rituals was done in order to summon this ink demon. Like how was he summoned? Where did he come from?
The idea is that Joey drew a pentagram on the floor with the ink that he had bought. He used 2 people at every pentagram that he drew around the building, and he sacrificed them in order to bring forth something. I personally am unaware of the reasoning that he did it, which I will find out later. But you can find more pentagrams around the building in chapter 1 and 2. Well, chapter 2. And each one of those pentagrams has one or two coffins accompanying it.
Yeah.
So, assuming he was doing human sacrifices, either that was turning people into the ink monsters, or that is what summoned the demon. Other people speculate that the demon came from the ink machine, which would make sense.
What do you mean by come from the ink machine?
It was born from ink, basically.
Oh.
It was born of ink and obsession.
Oh, okay.
So, a demon that feeds off obsession, born from something that said person obsessed over.
Which Joy Drew obsessed over. Ink.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mainly Bendy, which is why he takes the form of Bendy.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk to you about a few other things. One, the aesthetic didn't really change. The aesthetic stayed the same.
Yeah.
However, the game felt darker.
Chapter 2?
Ink was appearing more often, and things were getting in a more darker sense. Color was starting to fade. What do you think of that?
I think it's just the ability to upgrade after what you see. Like, you improve on your errors from chapter 1. You're able to build off of chapter 1 in a good way, because it was kind of at first really bad.
Yeah, let's be honest. Before the remake, it was not great.
But people ended up. It was a good thing that they got lucky, because people loved it, even though it wasn't really good quality. So they were able to make a chapter 2.
Well, because the versions that became popular, I think, were just the beta. It wasn't the full release, I don't think.
So when that happened, they had the opportunity to create a chapter 2, and then that chapter 2 they were able to build off of because chapter 1 was so bad they could look back at their mistakes and then create something better.
One thing I did also want to talk about that we missed in chapter 1 that we forgot to talk about, the pedestals. So if we can pull up a picture of the pedestals, it's weird. The pedestals, or I don't know if you remember, you had to find specific items around the building, put them on pedestals. What do you think of that little puzzle idea?
I think sometimes it might be a little tedious because you have to go around the map looking for these items. But I mean, other than that, it's a simple puzzle. You just got to find the items, put them on the pedestals, and then you hit the button. Was it a button or a lever?
It was a lever.
It was a lever. And you just pull the lever, and that
Leather? You pull the leather?
Lever.
Leather what?
Uh,
I mean, other than that, and then another thing was the core gameplay was revealed at the end of chapter 1 and into chapter 2, which was the axe.
Mm-hmm.
The use of tools wasn't in a lot of chapter 1.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the addition of giving a weapon?
Doesn't that technically make it an RPG?
What?
Does it not?
No.
I mean, it's a fighting game now.
You don't get to decide what happens.
I mean, technically.
In an RPG, you decide the course of the story.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Positive.
You're positive.
Without a doubt.
You're positive. Well, I didn't really mean RPG in the sense that it's a fighting game.
Would that not just make it a... I mean, that would just make it a first person... What, you want to call it a first-person shooter now?
It's technically, yeah. Think about it. Think about it. You have a weapon, and you're in first person. No, in freaking.
Can we play the wrong buzzer real quick, please?
No, listen. Just hear me out. I can't remember if this was in chapter 3, so I don't want to spoil it. But I do remember we do get a gun.
That's chapter 4.
That's chapter 4.
Way further.
That's chapter 4.
That is way further, bro. You need to stop.
But we get a gun. We get a gun. It is a first-person shooter game.
All right. Anyway, and near the end of chapter 2, we meet one of my favorite characters, Boris. Alive, living Boris, not dead Boris.
We only see him for a little bit, though. So we just see him walking out.
We actually get to meet him in chapter 3, but chapter 2, we get his actual design. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, he reminds me a lot of just Goofy.
I mean, he basically is Goofy.
Yeah, both. And then I like the little, I don't know if you remember, but in around chapter 1 and 2, people started making, and then even the company released a few actual animations that showed the old cartoons, and they were actually really good.
What was I gonna say? Oh, was Boris like cartoon wise? Was he basically Bendy's right hand man? Basically,
yes. Okay. In the cartoon, Boris and Bendy have almost the same relationship as Mickey and Goofy.
Okay.
They are right next to each other.
Okay.
They are the bestest of friends.
That makes sense. I mean, and then also, oh no, I can't get into it because it's chapter 3.
Yeah, we meet a very special someone in actually we can talk about her. She's mentioned.
She does have posters.
Another character that appears that we have to kind of a little bit of rush through is Alice Angel, who appears later. We don't have to get a picture of her, but Alice Angel appears later. She is another character that would appear in Bendy's franchise. Yeah. And Joey said that there was a chance that Alice would become more popular than Bendy was. And I'm going to admit that one statement right there drove a lot of hatred between what we can cover in chapters 3 and 4.
Yeah.
The massive divide of the studio between the angel side and the demon side. It's it's a complete sever.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. Anything
all right.
other...
Ooh.
I think it was Sammy.
Well, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to check out my Twitch at I_am_EldenLord.
And if you also liked what I said, make sure you come check me out on Twitch at Dungeon2Breaker.
Make sure to check us. Make sure to check us out at the next podcast, and we hope to see you again soon. See you later.